Hi, and welcome to another episode of my podcast, Your Voice. And today with me is a lovely lady, Špela. Hi, Špela.
Hi, Katja.
I'm so happy to have you here. How are you today? Good?
Fine, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So Špela will introduce herself and also tell us what we will be talking about today. But the topic is, as always, very, very interesting one. So Špela, I give you the word. So please introduce yourself, yeah?
Hi, everybody. As Katja already said, I'm Špela. I've been an English teacher for a bit over 2 decades, if I count in my student years, when I actually started with my first private tutorials. I never knew I wanted to be a teacher, mind you,
Mhm.
which is really interesting. Although looking back now, there were so many signs showing this quite
Mhm.
clearly.
Mhm.
Working with children and English were two things that I was really good at, but it never
Mhm.
dawned upon me that I could put those two together until,
Mhm.
like I said, at university, my then professors asked me whether I would tutor some children who needed more speaking environment because the schools
Mhm.
didn't give that. And due to the fact that I had spent some time in the UK and I was fluent in English and due to the accent and everything, and who would not like to earn a couple of euros on the side when you're a student, I accepted it and soon realized that this is something that I'm really good at because I could explain things
Mhm.
and I really enjoy doing it. So
Mm.
fast forward a couple of years, I tried being a teacher in the public system as well. I've taught a couple of public schools, but due to the fact the way our school system is built, I felt the pressure of
Mhm.
the system, the curriculum,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I knew that if I stay in that system, the spark of teaching, the love for teaching, the love for doing what I'm doing would soon die. So
Mm.
I decided to take the leap
Mhm.
into the private sector, which was a bit terrifying, was not having that social security and coming from the background of two parents who were in the public system all of their lives.
Mhm.
And you have those mum and dads being worried about you for not having the social security.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I I
Yeah.
was I was listening to the inner voice, and yeah, it's been 9 years now, basically, that I've been running my own language school.
Mhm.
3 years at the new location, which is just mine. Before I had a classroom, I was renting a classroom, and now for
Mhm.
3 years, I have my little center in the right in the heart of Maribor, where I'm currently teaching 12 groups.
Wow.
I teach kids from age 3 to age 18, basically up to Matura, gymnasium
Mhm.
students.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so yeah, quickly, a
Uh-huh.
quick introduction.
Nice. That's sweet. That's sweet. Spilla, because you said, "Oh, I didn't want to be a teacher necessarily." What was
Mm.
your first choice then?
I really wanted to study comparative literature and English,
Oh,
and due to the fact that I spent 2 summers and
Mhm.
in summer school at the University of Edinburgh, due to when I was a
Mhm.
student, I was
Mhm.
really playing with the idea of doing masters in Edinburgh because the program was so tempting. However, the financial bit was
Mhm.
a bit too
Mhm.
much to handle, so I didn't take upon that. But my primary love was love for books and literature.
Mm,
That was the
lovely.
idea.
But you can also probably put that or integrate this knowledge or the skill, let's say, or the passion also into your courses, right?
There is an idea. Yes, there is an
Yes,
idea of
lovely.
doing this. So
Mhm.
probably, hopefully next year, but it might come into reality.
Mm, sweet.
I've been building my own little library. It's just hard to get my kids. My kids are both keen readers. I'm really happy that I
Mm,
was able to plant that seed with both of them, and
mm.
they're really passionate and territorial about their books. So they're not really keen to
Sweet.
share them.
Ah, I
So
see. I see. Lovely.
loads of books still at home in the library, but I'm
Mhm.
kind of slowly buying early readers from Lady
Mhm.
Reed from Oxford and filling it in.
Lovely.
Yeah, so
Ah,
I
that's
would like
good.
to have everything from preschool to primary and
Mhm.
secondary, so I would like
Mm,
to teach
lovely.
something.
Lovely, lovely. So you mentioned that you worked also in public schools, but you were quite not satisfied. Yeah, if I may say so. Tell us a little bit, why was that? And teaching English, I mean, are you really an English teacher, or are you maybe, would you really describe yourself as a teacher? Maybe some other word would, I don't know, develop from it, like a guide maybe. I see you more as a mentor or guide than a teacher.
I definitely don't put just focus on the language and grammar and vocabulary itself,
Mhm,
because I believe
mhm,
language is so much more, right?
mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
it's not just teaching the rules and
mhm.
forms, although sometimes I have to do that with certain students because they need to reach the goals in school and they come seek help
Yes,
in order to
yes.
apprehend those. I try to give them some cultural background as well, personal experience,
Mhm,
and the fact that I've learned a lot while staying in the UK with a family,
mhm,
and they did not language guide me. I was staying there as an au pair, a member of family,
mhm.
and it was all those social skills and interactions I had
Yeah.
with the family. I either with parents or with the two kids, um, where I learned a lot, if not the most. And I think building certain communication skills and showing children also personal and social relations and skills. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
uh, anything that happens, okay, maybe not so much with the preschoolers because, of course, the level of English is not good enough. And
Mhm,
year 6, 7 students depends how long they're with me
mhm,
because sometimes year 7
mhm,
students are perfectly capable of understanding basic
mhm.
language
Yeah.
structures. Anything that happens, any conflicts that occur in a group, which
Mhm.
they do, we solve them in English. We
Absolutely.
go through all the emotional pathway, like, what just happened here?
Mm,
How does it make you feel?
mm.
Okay, why don't you like this? Could you
Yeah.
explain why did you remove yourself from the group? What's wrong? Try to use words and explain, how did this
Mm,
make and I want this is also apprehending, basically learning the language, learning. I
mhm,
think it's even more crucial because children learn certain skills through another brain center. So basically, their
mhm,
English language center works while they're
mhm.
going through an emotional dilemma
Exactly.
or
Yeah,
conflict.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think this is really important because the neuron connections in such a situation develop so much faster. If I switched off the English language and go to Slovene, I think I
Mm.
do double, if not triple work while staying in the language focus with
Yeah,
them.
absolutely, absolutely agree. Now, thinking about how we learned and are still learning languages at school, not a lot of time comes to this, right? Like you say, some emotional, let's say, I don't know, they fight or something, an emotional
Mhm.
situation comes up, and the teacher might not continue in English or say something in Slovene, or they might not even come up because everybody
Exactly.
needs to be silent. I remember one teacher long time ago, and this was a shocking revelation to me. She said, "You know what? I'm proud. In my class, nobody is speaking. Like everybody's quiet. And this is how it should be." And I was like, well, you are teaching an English language. How can
Exactly.
everybody be quiet? What is this? So you see,
Mhm.
and then it just, wow, it's shocking. So I believe this is not what's happening in school, because in school,
No,
probably only the
no.
subject like grammar plus words are learned. And as you beautifully said, Špela, the center is working, the brain center of the language is working, but it does not make necessary connections, right? That are needed to integrate the language into everything. Yeah. What
I
is your
always I
experience?
always tell them what is a language. Language is a speaking tool, right? So it's a skill
Exactly.
you need for speaking. And it doesn't matter
Mm,
how many exercises you do for grammar, for vocabulary, reading,
mm,
listening,
mm.
how many books you read. If you don't speak, right? I always explain them. Imagine that our brain is like a disk or a folder, a disk where with the information on the computer is stored.
Yes.
So we have one folder where all the information is stored from the exercises, reading, listening, etc. But there's a whole other folder that is responsible for the speaking part. And your tongue is a muscle. In order to be
Mm,
fit, a muscle has to work. And
absolutely.
in order to get all that information from one folder into the
Mm,
speaking center, you
mm,
have to speak in order for those neuron connections to be formed. And what you've
Absolutely.
just explained before is I was in extended help for the university for a couple of years, and I was teaching year one students at the one faculty, and this was a huge dilemma I had because I had such a passive classroom of students who were used to being quiet
Oh my
in a
God.
language lesson because that's what they came,
Oh,
and they came from different schools, gymnasias and vocational schools, different
mm,
universities.
mm,
They were
mm,
quiet and they were so shocked. And I
mhm.
said, "Hello, I'm teaching a language.
Yeah, yeah.
My classroom needs to be loud in order for you to go to leave my course
Mm-hmm.
equipped for your line of work. I
Mm,
need to teach you to speak in case you do
mm.
an exchange, in case you ever have
Exactly.
another nurse coming from another country and you need to pass over a patient. I need to make sure that you don't kill the patient by passing the information, or if you
Exactly.
take over the patient,
Exactly.
that you know
Mm,
exactly what's going on." And that
mm,
is exactly, I don't want my classroom to be quiet. I always prefer to
mm,
work as my didactics professor at uni said, organized chaos. So my
mm,
students know that we have certain rules. I teach small groups. There is
mm,
a rule: when somebody's speaking, we listen. We don't
mhm.
interrupt. I think because that's the basic manners that everybody should
Of
have.
course. Yeah, yeah.
We don't cut into people's sentences. We wait our turn, but it's a speaking classroom. Yes, we do
Exactly.
exercises from now to then because it's also a skill, because of the spelling, because of the pronunciation, everything. But the main focus is on speaking, definitely.
Mhm, mm. Absolutely. And I also, what I recognized with the adults when I was working, right? I always, I kind of compartmentalized it into two boxes. So one is the learning mode, so like a learner of English, right? And the other
As
one
you
is
were
a speaker of
exercising.
English. And what I saw also, let's say in school systems, not maybe just necessarily in Slovenia, but I would even say maybe around the world, is that the learner box is so, let's say, motivated. So it's all the materials, that are there actually support the journey of the learner. That
Mhm.
means like, if I do this exercise, if I learn more words, I will be able someday speak. But nobody
Right.
actually is doing the work with the speaker mode.
No.
So what we, as you do with the kids, we do as an adults here in my classes as well, is build a community where we actually are building a speaker, because people are so used to learn the
Mhm.
language that they forget it how to speak. They were never actually taught. It's not their fault.
Yes,
Like
and
you
how
say, these instances like being quiet, but also in general, children are not taught how to speak. They're not
yeah,
taught how to be heard, seen, say their opinions at school, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
How often do you come across an adult that tells you, "Oh, I'm able to understand everything, most of it
yeah,
when I read. I'm able to understand most of it when somebody speaks to me. Yet, when I have to speak, when I have to
yeah, Spilla.
compose my ideas and thoughts into a
Yeah,
sentence,
yeah,
I freeze completely."
yeah. 100% of my
Yeah,
clients,
there you go.
guarantee, had the
There you go.
same
Yeah,
thing, like you saying,
yeah.
100%.
I
And it's
see
so
this in children as
frustrating.
well.
Yeah.
Season children as well. Let's say the
Mhm,
last in year 7, 8, 9, 8, 9 of primary school, when they already have certain base of the learner, as you said, because it has been
mhm,
implemented on them from the start of the primary school. Those who are not, I don't know, let's say exposed more to language, are not so self confident in speaking, and
mm,
they freeze. They completely
mhm.
freeze, and then they're scared as well because there's so many school friends their peers in the classroom who are much better than they are,
Yeah,
and God forbid they make a mistake, they will laugh at me, they'll make fun out of me, and the easiest thing is to shut down. And those students in a class of 24 or 30, it's really easy to hide. You just duck your head down,
yeah,
and when the teacher asks for a question, those
yeah,
few 5, 6, 7 of
yeah,
8 will raise their hands or even won't raise their hands and give the
yes,
answer, and you can
yes.
smoothly sail through 9 years of primary school.
Exactly, exactly. And it becomes your bubble, it becomes your modus operandi when
Mhm,
it comes to confidence and speaking.
mhm.
And you know
Exactly.
what I also found is really traumatic is when I was analyzing all of the stories, and also mine story, by the way, because I've also, I mean, my contact with English was first in primary school. I never went to England at that time and so on, was that the only time I had a chance to speak, I was evaluated. So the only
Mm.
time I could speak, this means like when when you went to the teacher, this was the old
Yeah.
system, and you stood in front of all the class
Well,
and,
give
very
a
nervous.
questions.
And the
Yeah.
only time I spoke, everybody else was watching me and the teacher was evaluating me.
Mm.
Not I didn't have a chance to prepare myself properly before because we never spoke, right? But she demanded speaking. So how traumatic, I mean, you see, I mean, how traumatic this is for us, and
Mhm.
then we are like wondering and blaming ourselves. Oh, I'm so bad in English. I need more words. I need more, I don't know, grammar or whatever. No, you just need a safe space where,
Exactly, to
where
open
you
your
are
mouth and
seen,
start
heard,
talking.
and understood, right? Yeah.
That, and I would add another thing, the explanation or the belief that mistakes are part of learning, not something awful that happens
True.
when you open your
Yes.
mouth. I
Yes.
always tell students that what are mistakes? Before the school system was developed, right?
Mm.
Before, as we know it today, people were doing mistakes when they were trying to find out a solution. So basically, it's a
Exactly.
process of elimination of possibilities.
Exactly.
Right? So you've got a sea of possibilities. You try this,
Right.
it doesn't work. Okay, it's a mistake, but I've tried it, it
Mm.
doesn't work. Eliminate. Try this, eliminate. Try this, eliminate. Ooh, this works. So
Yeah.
basically, making mistakes is a way of learning. And I always tell
Mm.
them that I wish I had a magic wand that I could
Mhm.
open up their heads and see what's happening inside of their brains. My life would be so much easier.
Mm.
However, it doesn't work this way. So I need
Mhm.
you to speak. I need you to make mistakes. I need you to open up to me, so I'll
Absolutely.
see how your brain works, and you know
Absolutely.
what, you can't profile your student based on 1, 2, 3 lessons. First of all, they need to get
Exactly.
relaxed with you to
Mm.
start speaking, and as they
Mm.
do, so many structures that were learned the wrong way, or so many problems that you can deal with and fix and help
Mhm.
with occur.
Mm.
So I always tell them, you need to speak so I can help you. If you don't
Mhm.
speak in English, right,
Exactly.
I don't know what I can do for you.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
this, I think
Exactly.
this gives them additional confirmation
Mhm.
that they start speaking and
Mm.
open up eventually.
Yeah. True. True.
Mm.
And what I also found, for example, that when we grow up and we're adults, there is this myth speaker, and then they have all these beliefs in their head, like I said before, I'm not good at it. I need more words and blah, blah, blah. And then I ask them, have you ever tried to speak? No. So the learner mode is so supported through the
Mhm.
process of school and early on that nobody actually tried speaking. So it becomes like a myth. It becomes like something that I can't have and everybody else has because they're talented.
Exactly.
It's not true. So then we are now in the game of being talented. You probably also have a lot of parents maybe who think that children need a talent to speak
Yes.
language. And I
Yeah.
I I had
Or
them on. I
it's
mean, yeah,
inherited. I was never good at English, so he's just like me. He's not good at
exactly.
languages as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Nope,
yeah.
it doesn't go that way.
No, no.
Our brains, we're all born with more or less the same capacities of
Yes,
learning. It
yes,
just depends how
correct.
much you engage your brain in learning a specific thing.
True.
That's
Very,
it.
very true.
And how well motivated you are in that process.
Exactly, exactly. And language being like a tool, brain recognizes it as something essential. It needs
Mm,
it to be able to survive, right? We have to
that's right.
speak to be able to survive. So when I hear that I'm not talented, when somebody says to me, oh, in school I was not I didn't have a talent. And I say, well, the brain is basically equipped for languages. It needs it because it's an
Yes,
essential tool to be able to survive. You need to speak, you need to
that's
learn
right.
it. So it's very inclined into learning languages. It's not the other way around.
That's right,
Yeah,
because no child is born knowing a language. We all learn our mother tongue from our parents as well.
exactly,
That's why
exactly.
when parents ask me, isn't it too early? Gosh, no. The
No,
earlier
no,
you start, the better it is, because children do it with such ease. That's another question I often get. How come children learn so easily?
mm,
Because they're not petrified and they're not brainwashed with
mm,
all the ideas and beliefs that we as adults are, of
yes,
performing, of
yes,
pleasing, of perfectionism.
yes,
They just, a child has one goal, to get what they want or to get it over with.
Exactly.
And if there's
Exactly.
any kind of motivation or praise, right, in between,
Mhm.
they're going to do it even sooner. And no, they
Mm.
don't do it 100% perfectly. Who opened their mouth and spoke with 100% perfection? Even your mother
Mm.
tongue, right? They make
Yeah.
mistakes because the speaking apparatus is not developed enough. It takes
Mm.
time. The brain is not developed. It takes
Exactly.
time. But
Exactly.
if you feed it during the process of developing, it goes miles. It really goes
Yes.
miles.
True. Very, very true. I love when you said like performance, that they need to perform and stuff like that. Because what I often see also in adults when I work with them is performance versus authenticity.
Mm,
So I'm trying to bring them always back to their voice. Yeah. So we are kind of in the journey of finding their voices again, because a lot of adults perform in English. And I also see kids, let's say in primary school, they perform. And
mhm,
it's so sad because
mm,
then they connect English with performing, which means perfection, which means obsession with some words that are actually, with some words and some of the concepts that are not true at all for the journey,
yeah.
for being a great speaker. Yeah.
I usually tell my students I am not a walking dictionary. I wish I were.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not a walking grammar book. I still
Mm-hmm.
use books, right? When I
Mm-hmm.
read a novel
Yes.
or some books, I still have a dictionary by my bedside.
Mm-hmm.
My tick is my best
Mm-hmm.
friend. I open it up, I look up for some words, then I'm interested in what word family that word belongs to, how it
Mm-hmm.
is connected to certain phrases. And this is my way of learning. I'm still learning the language. And
Exactly.
I opened Oxford Advanced Dictionary. There's like 10 people who
Of
made that
course.
dictionary, and all of them are extreme experts in their own fields.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Mm-hmm.
written by one person. There's no one person that can use all
Exactly.
those over half a million
Exactly.
words that are in that book.
Mhm. True,
And then,
true.
they just open those big diets. You don't know. I'll look it up.
Mhm.
That I think that's another thing.
Mhm.
Children look at us, or students, yours as well, like we're
Mhm.
gods.
Mhm.
Omnipotent,
Mhm.
all-knowing, we've got all the answers.
Yeah,
No, I
authority,
don't. I'm
right?
human.
Yeah.
I make
Mhm.
mistakes. I
Mhm.
don't sleep well during the night. I wake up next morning. I
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
mistake. I forget something.
Yes.
I'm not 20
Exactly.
anymore. Things
Exactly.
like that. And I say, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Hang on. Or the other day, yeah, it just happened last week. We were doing irregular verbs and I had a brain freeze. And all of a sudden, I couldn't remember is caught the past simple of
Mhm.
is it spelled with
Mhm.
an A or with an O? I had a certain brain freeze. Hang on, I think it's A, but that speck of doubt inside of me, I need to check. I open like, okay, it is A.
Yeah,
But
exactly. It
still,
happened to
for
me
a
too a lot of
moment,
times. I have brain freeze. Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
for a
But
moment,
that's normal. That's a normal
exactly. And
reaction.
see, showing them we're mortals too, right? We
Mhm.
make mistakes as
Exactly.
well. I
Mhm.
use the book, I open it. I
Mhm.
also teach them, use a good reference dictionary. Don't go to ChatGPT or
Mhm.
Google Translate
Mhm.
because still it's verified information that you come up with then.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, that's fantastic. I also see this a lot, especially when I have these discovery calls with my clients. Before we start working, and I ask them
Mhm.
also, "How are you?" And they say, "Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous." And
Yeah.
of course, then I walk them through it through the nervousness, but I immediately see how they position themselves as pupils, students, and I'm the authority. And what
Yes.
I want to bring them is actually, I mean, I want to tell them that we are the same. I want
Mhm.
you to treat me as, okay, maybe a mentor, a guide, let's say, but never as your, authority that I will
Mhm.
just give you guidance and you just have to take all of it. Uh,
That's the school system environment
that's the
that we're
school system, and
brought
it
up
still
in.
lives in the adults, Shpela, and I cannot, you cannot imagine. And these are people who really are very, let's say, who have their lives together, who are really busy, who make really tough decisions. And suddenly the fear of authority, like they were in school, it just comes up through
Mm,
English. And then we try to work it through like we are the same. I'm just an English speaker, right? I mean, okay, I guide them through, but when when we have a dialogue, I'm just the one who gives you feedback. I'm not here to evaluate you. A lot
yeah,
of people think that I'm evaluating them, like a
it's
teacher would. And that's why they are actually waiting for permission to speak, actually, from me,
yeah,
constantly asking me, was this okay? Did I do this right? And I say to them,
yes.
you don't need to evaluate. You don't need to, wait for my permission to speak. Just speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this in my group. So like you say, this system lives in adults. It's
Mm-hmm.
so much present in nowadays schools still.
Yes.
Okay. With
Mm-hmm.
teachers who still do the classical formative learning, teacher-centered learning.
Yes.
Um, we still have teacher-centered classrooms. Most
Mm-hmm.
classrooms still have desks in rows where
Yes.
students passively gaze at the board and the information presented on the board and just
Yes.
passively
Yes.
copy it into notebooks. It
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, like I said, I've been to a couple of schools. I've taught, I saw the work of some of my colleagues. Oh, and ever since I was a student, even back then, I was a student when the last garbage reform took place in 2004, 2005, the 8-year
Mm-hmm.
going to 9-year, and I was the nay camp even back then.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying since then that our school system does not need a reform. It needs a bloody revolution, pardon my French,
Mm-hmm.
because
Definitely.
the
Mm.
world has changed drastically.
Absolutely.
With the invention and of the internet and bringing the internet into every single household.
Mhm, mhm.
Teacher
Absolutely.
is no longer the one who holds the entire knowledge as it used to be, right?
Mhm,
Students
mhm.
can look up so much information online today.
True, true.
I mean, so many children already have the smartphones. It's in their pockets.
Mhm, mhm,
So it's not the teacher no longer, for a while now, is the
mm.
one who is the bearer of knowledge and presenter of knowledge. There's so many other skills that we need to teach them.
Absolutely,
And I have
absolutely.
the same thing, they come, I have small groups. They keep
Mhm,
raising their hands, and you don't have to raise your hand. You're not in a
mhm,
classroom. I see you. You can put your hand down. Just let
mhm.
it finish. Then you can say whatever you want to say.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and then, like you said, afraid to open their mouth and speak. Don't.
Yes,
Yeah, but I don't know how to say it. Doesn't matter. Say
exactly.
it. The
Say it.
point is that you get the information out, and
Mhm,
the Slovene brain works, and they keep translating. Don't
mhm,
do that.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
What is the goal when you're either when you want to say something or when you question that you
mhm,
speak? Exactly. You're
mhm,
frozen. Don't think about that single word or sentence in your head. What are you
mhm.
trying to tell me? Paraphrase. As a
Exactly.
teacher, I don't know what's going on inside of your head. I won't know that you've just suddenly changed and the sentence that you wanted to say, and I'll
Mm,
take this as a mistake. I'm
mm.
communicating with you. You told me something. I don't know what's going on inside of your head. So you
Exactly.
can't think of that. What are you trying to tell me? Say it differently.
Mm, mm.
That's the point of communication, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. Getting the message across and then building
Exactly.
something together because the message is like a point between you two.
Yeah.
And absolutely, I mean, through that, I mean, through our clients and through through both that we have these clients, you see how, like I said before, they are fed something, they need to take it, even if they don't like it. And so
Yeah.
I always tell my adult clients, do you like this? If you don't, I just ask them, do you like this word? And they say, I don't know. And I said, take the one you like. You don't have to take all of them. I just present them so you have like, you have
An
10 flavors
option
of
to
ice
choose
creams,
options.
yes, instead of
Exactly.
just two. But you
Yeah.
take what you like. So I
Yeah.
always go through the likeness, do you like it? No, let's do another one. So they
Exactly.
at least for the first time in their life, they have freedom of choice, what they want to take and what they want to say.
Yeah.
But it's such a hard journey for them too, because, then they are faced with something that they believed in and now they have to switch the belief.
Hmm.
So going from, oh, this is only for talented, I am the talented one, let's say, or I have this ability, now what do I do now with it? So it's a very, very big transformation going on, probably also with kids, right?
Yeah.
When you go through it
Yeah.
together. So,
I try to do that as well. So
mhm,
I create my own courses.
mhm,
But they're never, so let's say I have 60-70% of set frame.
mhm.
But that frame is adjusted to each and every individual group
Wow,
due to
fantastic.
students. It's a lot of
Mhm.
work, I
It is.
know, but I give
Mhm,
them exactly what you said now, what they
mhm,
like. Right? I have
mm,
different students. I have more kinesthetical students. I have more students that prefer more artsy craftsy things. I have students
mm.
of different
Lovely.
interests, and I'm trying to bring that. It's not always doable. Because if you have,
Mm,
I don't know, 8, 9, 10 students, there's 8, 9, okay, 5 maybe different interests. But we
mhm,
try, which is also a part of teaching, you know? Let's compensate, not compensate.
mhm.
Let's find a way that everybody will get something out of the lesson, right?
Exactly.
So
Mhm,
you compromise now in that
mhm,
kind of way. And then I try to find topics that are close to them and
mhm.
interesting to them. Because with that, you already gain so much motivation for the lesson, so much motivation for the
Absolutely.
learning, and the work is
Mm,
easier for you. If you
mm.
have an attentive student who's focusing, who's paying attention, who's eager to learn, what more could
Absolutely.
you ask for?
Absolutely. That's true. That's so true. I
Yeah.
also see this in adults. They're actually
Mhm.
not so different,
No.
in the way how they process everything. So I see a lot of similarities, although
Yeah.
it's an age gap.
Yeah.
Spilla, going back to your work, yeah, tell me what drew you to specifically to working with young people, with teenagers, with kids.
So, like I said before, I've always been really good with working with kids. I always had
Mhm.
some connection. I used to do lots of babysitting, even as a teen. The teacher I previously mentioned, the American teacher,
Mhm.
she
Mhm.
connected me with an American family, and I babysat 3 kids when I was year two, year
Oh,
three.
oh
And that
wow.
was a really special experience. But still, even then, it didn't dawn upon me like, hey, this is something where I could. No, it was just, it was
Right.
fun. It was, for me, it was easy money because I need to look after
Mhm.
kids. Big deal.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I know lots of my mom's cousins within 2, 3 years had all had babies, so I would spend
Mhm.
every single holiday I could with them, babysitting
Mm.
and just, being the helping hand. I
Fantastic.
loved it.
Mhm.
Um, I never, like I said, I never thought I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to study comparative literature, but I failed maths in Matura and consequently I couldn't apply in the first row.
Mm.
So, of course, English was taken then. For my mom, it was out of the question to take a gap year, so I tried Slovene for 1 year.
I see.
Hated it, dropped out, and filled in the application for no NOPAB because, unlike you, I was really lucky that in primary school we had this extra English lessons for good students.
Uh-huh.
And I had another teacher in that, and that was actually my mom's teacher of English when my mom was in school. So she was quite an old lady.
Mm.
And she also spent some time in London, which, imagine 1970s was a big
Wow.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And her British accent, and she would bring us these magazines, and I would read
Oh,
magazines in
sweet.
English. That
Love it.
was, yeah. Actually, it was in one of those magazines that an article about being a pair come up, and that was when I kind of
Mm.
got I would like to do that, the
Wow.
idea. And then after going to England and seeing how much I love working with language,
Mhm.
I started. I did start at certain language schools, and I was teaching adults as well. But I don't know why. I mean, some people think I'm crazy when I say that, but I find working with children much easier because they're
Mhm.
so straightforward. That's
Mhm.
the part
Mhm.
I really like because with grown-ups,
Mhm.
you're always in those, sensitive gloves.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not sure whether the information. That's at least that's my experience.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're taught that being straightforward is not so good. We have these social skills that we need to
Mhm. Mhm.
use most of the time. With
Mhm.
kids, especially with young learners, forget about it. If I
Yeah.
don't like it, I don't like it. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm not doing it.
True, true.
What
Mm.
you see is what you get. No deal with
Mm.
that. And
Mm.
it is
Yeah.
challenging sometimes because, especially with preschoolers, you are in your primary role is clown slash motivator.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
I don't make the content interesting, there's no way they're going to pay attention and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No way.
True, true.
Okay. So
That's
it's
true.
constant, shifting, changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also a challenge. I like it. I really like it.
Mhm.
And it's really fulfilling. And knowing that, I'm still in contact with some of my first students who are well into
Mhm.
their uni years now.
Mhm.
And when we meet, we still meet and we chat in English because that's one rule. English only
Mhm.
during the lessons. I think sometimes
Mhm.
I'm like a broken record. English only, no English, no Slovene. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't understand. Constantly. And we still meet up once,
Mhm.
twice a year, perhaps. And when we do, the meetings are in English. We go for a cup of
Mm.
coffee, drink. It's
Sweet.
always in English because they
Mm.
their connection with me, the
Mhm.
psychological connection, was built
Mhm.
in English, and for
Yes.
them, it's strange to speak Slovene.
Mhm.
Actually, just
Mhm.
this week on Tuesday, in one of my lessons, I have this mixed group of 7, 8 year old, year 7, year 8 primary school,
Mhm.
and I read there was a post by Lindsay Vaughan that went
Mhm.
through social media this week about her trying, and life is all about trying. You should never just live in the safe zone. But
Right.
yeah, it was really inspiring, and I read it to them. And as it snowballed down, because all the girls had certain ideas and they shared it, and then one of the girls said, "Oh, can I just the lesson finished? Can I just say this in English, please? The lesson's done." I was like, "Okay,
Oh,
fine."
sweet.
And she opened in Slovene, and she opened her mouth and she started saying something in Slovene, and in the middle of the sentence, she froze. Oh my god, my voice sounds so strange. I'm not used to this.
Yeah, that's great. Oh,
Because
sweet.
for the because she's been with me now for basically from the beginning. She was 3, 3.5 when she started, and
Mm.
it's been English the entire time. And then she opened her
Mm.
mouth in Slovene, and oh my god, this is so strange, because it was
Right.
something completely new. Because
Yeah.
the connection is built in another language, and that
Mm.
too plays a crucial role, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me, Špela, how old is your youngest student? I mean, where is the age range that you work with?
I start with 3-year-olds still, because there is still this stigma
Mhm.
of belief that starting early on is torturing children, that they should not learn, that they should just play. They
True.
do play,
Yeah.
right? We play a lot, but
Yeah.
everything is through play.
Yeah.
But like I said before, if you make it interesting, they will be there. They will love to come. And they love to
Absolutely.
come to lessons. Yeah, there
Mm.
are days when they don't feel like it. They would prefer to stay in the playground. I mean, do you get
Mhm.
up every morning and feel like going to work?
No.
Exactly. We
No.
all have, we're human beings. Our days are different. But the
Mm.
youngest, she will turn 4 this year. But
Mhm.
she started last year when she just turned 3.
Mm.
Yeah. So 3 is
Sweet.
usually the age that they
That you
start.
start.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. And you mentioned before that you work in Maribor, right? So you only have groups, live groups, I would say. So people come in and, I mean, live groups in person, yeah? So people come in and, sweet.
I
Can
have
you tell?
I have some online classes, but they're more or less
Uh-huh.
one-on-one, or two people. But
Oh,
mainly, yes, mainly live. Especially
uh-huh.
during COVID, it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also connected with the brain development to get the young students to sit or be present in front of a screen for 45 minutes. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, it's not natural for them to sit for 45 minutes at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we did things through screen. I shortened the lessons back then,
Mm.
but I learned during the first COVID that getting kids up to the age of 5, 6 in front of the screen is I prefer not to.
Yeah.
So I found other ways of sending material to parents, and gave some advice to parents what they could do
Mm.
during that time.
Mm.
Um, the personal touch, the connection, how many times they come and they give me a hug. They need that motherly
Yeah.
input as well, especially young learners. But
Mm.
even older ones, I have 8-year-old, 9-year-olds cuddling me,
Right.
giving
Right.
me a hug when they arrive, giving me a
Yeah.
hug when they leave, because
Yeah.
they need that human connection.
Mm.
And that is something, referring to the beginning, that AI will never be able to give.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Mm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, what comes to my mind, and we already said this, the
Mhm.
safety and being heard and seen, which cannot be even given in systems which are larger, let's say, or not
Yeah.
equipped with everything, like.
Mhm.
So, yeah, safety and being heard and being seen, I think.
Mhm. And accepted.
Absolutely.
And
Mm,
accepted for
and
who you are.
accepted, exactly.
Yeah. Not judged.
True, true. Spila, maybe also this question is also interesting because a lot of times I get also asked by my clients, what part do I play in the English learning of my kid? Should I learn with them? So what kind of role do parents in
Mm.
general, should they play or not? Or what can they do to help or support their children to be more confident in English?
In general, and
Mm-hmm.
here I speak from experience, kids
Mm-hmm.
don't feel it doesn't come natural to a child that all of a sudden parents start speaking and referring them to in another language, especially
True.
younger children.
Yeah.
They shut down. They'll give you
Mhm.
this weird look like, what are you talking about? And in most cases, they will not respond
Mhm.
because the link, the psychological connection with your child is built in the mother tongue.
Mhm.
I'm really lucky because I was able to do both of my girls are brought up bilingually because I've been speaking both languages with them from day one, basically since they were
Yeah.
in my
Me too.
tummy.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it comes completely natural to them to speak both languages with me, to refer to me in English or Slovene. Basically, there's lots of code switching going on the entire time. Um, but that is work, right? That is a
Mhm.
lot of diligence, constant,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, in order that you keep this present every single day so it becomes natural to them.
Mhm.
Otherwise,
Mhm.
it's not natural, bringing
Mhm.
me to the point where it's, if you know, if after, I don't know, speaking certain language, be that Slovene or anything else, to your child for 6, 7, 8 years,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you want to do it in English as well,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
it won't go well.
Exactly. And
According to my
yeah.
experience, it won't go well.
Yeah, yeah. And there's also the social skills that they get through Slovene, right? They are
Hmm.
used to seeing you in Slovene, let's say,
Yeah.
through all the interactions, and suddenly you're bombarding them with English, unless you might do it very slowly and made it safely. But then again, yeah, it could backfire definitely. So what is
And
your
this
maybe? Mhm.
thing I notice,
Mhm.
there's this idea going around nowadays that people think, but I'm good in English. I can speak it well, right? But I, because I hear it sometimes when I go around, it's the Slovene brain still dominates, and then there are
Yeah.
some crucial grammar mistakes that are sent
Mhm.
out
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
feed child's brain because that's the
Mm.
language the child hears, that's the
Yeah.
language the child
Yeah.
apprehends.
Yeah.
And it's really one of the most difficult thing is when there's the connection the brain is made wrongly
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
need to correct it. Being that, I
Yeah.
don't know, if clauses, irregular verbs, the wrong usage
Mhm.
of tenses.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, I use a lot of humor when I
Mhm.
teach my students, and usually when they make a mistake, I respond in a funny way, as if, what did I, as a native speaker, just hear you say?
Ah,
Right?
yes.
For
Yes.
example, I don't know, use of personal pronouns. So a mummy
Mm.
suddenly becomes a he. What
Ah,
happened with
yes.
mommy? Mommy became a daddy all of a sudden? And giggle, giggle,
Yes. I
giggle.
see.
But
That's
there's an aha moment, right? Or instead of using present perfect, they use past simple. Oh gosh, have you just
Mhm.
died?
Mhm. Mhm.
What do you mean? Well, start to finish in the past, your life is
How
done.
long it's fantastic. Yeah.
Things like that, or I
Mhm.
was on a school, please don't jump off the roof. It's really
Mhm.
dangerous. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Well, you're on the school because the
exactly.
Slovene brain is still dominant. The
Right.
Slovene phrases, grammar,
Right.
whatever is
Right.
dominant, and then just translate
Yeah.
unawareingly.
Mhm.
And the
Mhm.
parents then do
Mhm.
the same, thinking they're doing best,
Mhm.
but not necessarily at all times.
Mm. So what would be your advice to the parents? What would, or let's say, what would you advise them to be the first step if they want to help their children on the journey of becoming more confident speakers? What would you advise
Definitely find somebody that they can speak with.
them? Mhm.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Because that is the best way of learning, as we have
Mhm.
already established, not
Mhm.
just doing exercises or, they said, but there's so many things that you have on the internet. There are. The internet is over flooded
Yes,
with english language
absolutely.
learning material.
Yeah.
However,
Mhm.
there's lots of weeds during those in amongst those seeds. You really need to, there's so much bad material out there.
Absolutely.
Um, and you really need to know. I mean, sometimes, when I set my mind on something and I want to find something specific for a certain group of
Mhm.
students,
Mhm. Mhm.
it takes me hours to
Yeah.
find something
Yeah, I know the
appropriate,
feeling.
either in YouTube,
Mhm.
either Googling. And people say, oh, just use ChatGPT. Well, ChatGPT gives you more or less the same hints as I would Google them. And I know exactly, doing this for such a long time,
Yes.
you already have I do at least, certain constant pages that I go to because I know the
True.
material
Yeah,
is good,
exactly.
proved,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I'm even willing. I pay regular membership to certain forums and websites because I know that the material I get from that will be okay and valid.
Mm-hmm.
But just watching something on YouTube or online is not necessarily good. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely find somebody who is comprehensive and good, not just language wise, but also mentorship wise,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Because you can be, in my opinion, I've had, I'm sure you as well. We've
Mm-hmm.
all had teachers in our educational
Mm-hmm.
years that were really good experts in their field,
Mm-hmm.
but pedagogically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I get you. I completely feel you. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. True.
And I
Okay.
think not everybody is made to be a teacher. Not everybody should be a teacher.
Absolutely
And that is
agree.
also something that I was saying even back then when I was at university, that the whole system, who do we actually get through
Mm-hmm.
to start studying English, any teaching subject, educational subjects,
Mm-hmm.
and who actually do we send out into the world?
Yeah.
Let's not forget, from the age of 6 to the age of 18, our children spend 1/3 of their life in the education system.
That's
Okay.
true.
And
Yes.
during those 6 to 18, 12 years, okay, let's say, give or take,
Mm-hmm.
their personality goes through drastical changes that stay with them the entire
Mm,
life.
exactly. Exactly. True. Very, very true. Yeah. So it's paramount that we keep
Yeah.
an eye on that.
Yeah.
Špela, if people want to contact you and ask you about English classes, where can they contact you?
If you Google Špela's English, there's an
Mm-hmm.
Instagram page, there's a Facebook page. All of the information is there. There's email, there's phone number, and
Mm-hmm.
they can reach out easily.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So all these links will be also around this video. So everybody watching or listening can check Špela's courses out and contact her.
Yes.
Thank you, Špela, for this lovely, lovely chat that we had. I really enjoyed it. Yes. Thank you
Yep.
very much for
Thank
your
you.
time. Okay. Bye
Thank you. See
bye.
you.
Take